Hey, Rox here. So, can you smell that? No, not with the Rocks cooking. We got Madden season coming up. Now, here's a schedule. I also want to go through major gameplay change leaks since I got some people asking, like, yo, what does this mean, Fox? So I'm going to explain that in a second. This right here is for the ultimate team goons out there. And we have, good morning, man. We're going to explain everything they said in the tweet at Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We then have Season 1 Thursday, the launch of the game, which is noon Eastern Thursday. Training camps launching. Pre-game access release 1. Rookie premiere, it says, is launching on Thursday also. And then pre-game access release 2 is Saturday. So we'll see. But rookie premiere, if that's a flawless launch, I will be more surprised than if like the Pirates make the playoffs this year. I don't know if we've ever had rookie premieres launch flawlessly, but we'll see. Maybe this is the year. Am I right? Next year is the year for the Pirates. Okay, so with that said, I do want to talk about some of the leaks that we saw in Mutt Leaks, right? They went through a lot of these graphics we're going to talk about in a second. We're going to go through, I don't know, do you guys want to see the animations? I'll let you guys look at the animations yourself. This one I thought was the coolest, the Team of the Week Limiteds. You got every single one. It's that limited edition, and then it's the Team of the Week. I like it because it's like, you know, very NFL themed with the helmets and like how they're played every week. So there's a bunch more down here. Team of the Weeks, Redux, all this stuff. I'll link his Twitter in the description since he's a real one. New legend portraits. I'm not going to go through and name the names of them. Kind of neat that we are getting new ones, though. We then have the soundtrack that's on its way. I turn it off because I'm a content creator, but I know a lot of people don't. So I like that I have, like, you know, Megadeth, the Franz Ferdinand Take Me Out. So they have a lot of songs that we don't generally hear. Like, because if you call like a couple years ago, it's like, oh, somebody mentioned the word football in the song, let's add it. So reminds me more, just like college football, of like an actual, you know, good quality songs making it on the soundtrack instead of pandering soundtracks to, I don't know who they're pandering to, but it was not good. It was definitely worth turning off years ago. Now it's better. We have core animation here too. That's kind of neat. I like that with a lot of the core cards. We'll see that. Here's the press start button. Saquon going up and over. I don't know. You guys are getting spoiled right now. That's what the video's about. We got player traits that have been revamped. We can take a look at this vamping of it, but it's basically broken down. Mad leaf pocket after first read. So like the guys that get shook easy. Willis is a stud. How dare you? Higher spec catch chance. So I like that they're making the players individualistic. I'm not going to go through the let's take a look at the number of it. So it was a total of 203 changes. Mad aggressive decisions, risk taker, throw away, prioritize bullet pass, throw, jump ball. So basically what EA did, and they said this in their gameplay blog, which was better individualize the quarterback, so like you're actually playing against like that individual, if that makes any sense whatsoever. For example, we know we've had like throw motions. We'll talk more about that in a second. But like a couple years ago, if you remember when Michael Vick got a card, he got like very specific animations, like duck under tackles, and he was much harder to tackle that way. So anything more that they add to make players play individualistic, I am here for. I love it because it needs that, right? It need like I've actually been like jealous of like EAFC for years having like body types and like how much better it makes certain like cards. Now people like say, oh, that's just imbalance kind of stuff, but something where individuals play like individuals, and hopefully it's not too overpowered. Although like I don't mind it if it's like overpowered for a little bit. Then like if it's like crazy bad, then okay, we can maybe see to nerf it. But I want a reason why I want to use like AJ Brown over like, you know, Zay Flowers for a certain scheme, right? I want to like, okay, Zay, I want him to get open in the middle and you know, having quick, but I want like AJ Brown to actually be like out physical people. So high spec catch chance, aggressive catch chance, stiff arm chance. Whereas Zay's got better juke moves. But you know, it's nice that the numbers are the numbers and like abilities are the abilities, but that's kind of annoying because everybody gets the same abilities, especially when they release in Mutt. But having this is the reason why I play this player. Like maybe he runs a slant route better than everybody else, right? We can look at like reception perception and see the guys that run certain routes better. Then all of a sudden EA cuts down on their animation on it by like a step or like a half step. The fact that they can explode out the break better, that's just like good gameplay in my opinion. And like having like a certain scheme and a certain ability to utilize that scheme is, I think, depth of football. All right, let's go into like the other things. Okay, so they nerfed us fat guys. You know what? There's not a lot that fat guys got going for us, right? Shorter lives, less ability to breathe without being heard. Our sleep is bad. But come on, man. We had one thing, and it was the run block engaged formula. One thing going for us. So now, run block rating, strength rating, and the weight got nerfed from 25 to 26. So now it went from 17% to 10%. So it still makes a little bit of difference, but it's not nearly as much. And I think it also got, we'll show it in a second. Okay. The weight required for max bonus is now 315 versus 350. So the really big guys, the Jordan Davises that were so glitchy, is now going to be anybody 315 and over. Make it cool to run really wide guys. I don't know. There's just something there's something neat that like the really thick guys play so much better. Now if you're 315, you're max bonus, and I hate it, man. I actually hate that change, but it's not going to, a lot of people aren't going to notice it. It's just going to be for like the hardcore nerds. Defensive shed formula. Did this change? It looks like weight is now only 5% for defensive sheds. Strength is 15. Play rec is 30% to shed better. I'm not sure I like that, but I guess you need to make play rec noticeable for something. I always took play rec, and it was this way when I was testing this years ago. Play rec was nice for like finding out whether the screen's going to happen, right? It's why like early in the year screens were like pretty good, but late in the year you couldn't get a screen off of against any defensive tackle. Because the play rec basically sniffed it out and like the screens were dead. It is always crazy, like screens after January. It's like, don't even call them. Although this year, like we got tunnel screens and stuff, at least in cut and college, that are really good from the wide receivers. But halfback screens, not so much. All right, we looked at that one. Throw power has been reduced 10% at the lower end of the curve. So now it's the same thing when you're at like rating 99. So he's got throwing power rating up to like 100 right here. So just add like another 0. But it only obviously goes to 99. As you see, there's a slight gap between these two things. So Madden 25, you had better throw power as you went down. Now it falls off drastically. So you really want to get it up into the 90s to get that throw power number high. So it's basically 10% lower. So there's a little bit more separation between the truly good arms and the whatever mid ones are. So I think that's a nice change, right? There should be a little bit of separation there. I don't have a problem with that. Collapse. Okay, this is huge. He says, okay, based off what he's seeing, I'm not sure I agree with his conclusion here. Pocket will be more stable, hold for longer this year before forced collapse, but heavier penalty now upon collapse. So let me see how I read it. Max collapse penalty increased. All Pro 26 is 2.5, 2.3, 3.0 on All Madden versus 2.3. So this is the penalty increase. So he's saying minimum time until, well, maybe I do agree with it now that I read it again. I don't know. His arrow made me confused the first way I read this because it looks like it's going one way. It should be going towards 26 because we're going forward in time. If somebody figures out a way to reverse time, let me know. I got some things I got to buy. We have minimum time until collapse increased. So basically on 25. Okay, here, let me explain what collapse means. So collapse, and now this is different for a 3-man rush, 4-man rush, 5-man rush, every single one different. So I don't know exactly the number he's looking at, if it's an average between all of them, but I'm going to guess the minimum time until collapse is, say, like a 5-man rush, and then the maximum time is like a 6 or a 2 or a 3-man rush. So basically, in Madden 25, if you had like, say, a 5-man rush, the pocket collapsed, which means somebody's got a shed. No matter what the shed rating is, the power move versus pass rush, 1.7 seconds. Okay, now in 26, the collapse, which is somebody's getting off a block, for, say, a 5-man rush is now 2.3. So you now have over a half second longer in All-Pro and a half second longer in All-Madden in 26 if you pick up all the rushers, which I don't like, which means like stock rushes are going to be worse in 26 than they were in 25. All right? Then for like a 3-man rush, and I'm just guessing this, and 25, the maximum time that the pocket would. I don't know if I agree with that. 3-man rushes took a long time at times. So we'll just say 4-man rushes. I'm gonna revise what I just said. Sorry, it's hard for me to know, but basically a 4-man rush in 25, 3.2 seconds, and then somebody's definitely getting a shed. In All Madden, it was 2.5 seconds, and somebody's definitely shedding. No matter what the power move, no matter what the pass block was, 2.5 seconds All Madden, somebody's shedding. You better have made that read. Like then it takes another half second then to close the pocket on the quarterback, but 2.5 seconds is what you got to make your read on All Madden. This next year, which is crazy to me that they double it, unless it was a 3-man rush, because a 6-second All-Pro pocket against a 3-man rush, that should be that way. You shouldn't be able to drop 8, 9 in coverage, 10 in coverage, and get a shed at a really quick rate. So the exact pass rush parameters matter, and I don't know what this is, but basically they're saying you're going to have more time in the pocket this in 26, and I don't like that. I really don't, right? Like when you make the only way of getting a successful defense, because successful defenses are built on pressure. Just ask Tom Brady and what the Giants did to him. And like all defense ever is all pressure. So even like the great secondaries, they still had good front fours, right? Seattle 2013. Yeah, they had the big marketing, but like tell Michael Bennett this stuff, right? Or like the other pass rushers they had in that team. So 6 seconds till you get a shed is kind of crazy to me, but we'll see how it works. We'll see, on the field. So super win changes. So a super win means, so generally you see super wins when you have an active X factor on the D line. So if I have Colossus, if I have Unstoppable Force, and you just have like a regular offensive lineman, a super win means I'm shedding you instantly onto your quarterback. So there is no pocket collapse. That timer that we talked about? All right, so basically, minimum rating to super win now, you only have to have 60. So basically, say you're blitzing a middle linebacker, he gets picked up by a running back. If the running back's only got, like, say, 30 pass block, you can now get an insta-win against them with your linebacker on the blitz. So that's definitely from what you used to have, which is like a premier defensive lineman at 85, to now just like a mid-level player can instantly super win if their pass block rating they're going against is so low. Minimum rating to prevent super win against. So basically, at 90 pass block, you wouldn't get super won against in Madden 25. That's been up to 95. So what I'm talking about with those abilities or rating differentials. Now, he doesn't exactly say how far. I would imagine it would have to be 99. You'd have to have like 99 power move against 90 pass block power, and you could get a super win. But now you got to get to 95 to not get super won against. So far more super wins in 26 with wider banding. Upper threshold is now effectively 95 versus 25. He didn't really make that much more clear, did he? Hopefully I explained it well. You need a 95 now to not get super won against instead of 90. Next one. So max distance for accurate deep passes increased from 40 yards to 45 yards. Likely spells increased viability of the deep passing game considering other changes. So okay, so you know how we have short accuracy, medium accuracy, and deep accuracy? I think what I'm seeing, because short was under 20 yards, medium was 20 to 40, and then deep was 40 to 55, and then we can like super deep, which has like a different penalty on it. Basically, what I think he's saying here that the medium accuracy now has gone from 40 to 45 yards. So before your deep accuracy kicks on, because most quarterbacks have lower deep accuracy than medium. So that should help out. But we'll talk about here in a second something else. We also have 43 unique quarterback releases. So it's kind of like how in MLB The Show, like each pitcher has their own, pitch motion. So here's the different ones they've added. I like it. Yeah, make them unique. Make Stafford allowed to go like multiple releases at once, and other guys that do that the Mahomes style. So that's kind of cool. Menu backgrounds he leaked also. Generic reveal on certain things in UT. We then have a team select screen. Looks like a really, I'm not gonna say AI, but it's just like a generic rendering of a stadium in the background here that like is in the menu. So then we have weird, terribly made uniforms. New alternate players between single back, shotgun mix, two back offense. We'll see it when we launch. New international series stadiums. We got Berlin, Santiago Bernabeu, and Dublin. I think the Steelers are playing there this year. There's the main menu. So that's a lot of like the gameplay changes that are changing, some like really like in the weeds stuff. I don't know if you guys find this interesting. If you do, please let me know in the comment section. I can do more stuff like that when it comes, try to interpret changes to the game. But my biggest I don't like it that they nerfed the fat boys. I don't like it, man. I really don't. I hope they revert that, because thick boys need loving too. I'll see you guys in a bit.